Chapter 19. Frank. They barely made it inside. As soon as their host threw the bolts, the cow monsters bellowed and slammed into the door, making it shudder on its hinges. "Oh, they can't get in," the man in denim promised. "You're safe now." "Safe?" Frank demanded. "Hazel is dying!" The host frowned as if he didn't appreciate Frank ruining his good mood. Yes, bring her this way." Frank carried Hazel as they followed the man further into the building. Nico offered to help, but Frank didn't need it. Hazel weighed nothing, and Frank's body hummed with adrenaline. He could feel Hazel shivering, so at least he knew she was alive. But her skin was cold. Her lips had taken on a greenish tinge. Or was that just Frank's blurry vision? His eyes still burned from the monster's breath. His lungs felt like he'd inhaled flaming cabbage. He didn't know why the gas had infected him less than it had Hazel. Maybe she'd got more of it in her lungs. He would give anything to change places if it meant saving her. The voices of Mars and Ares yelled in his head, urging him to kill Nico and the man in denim and anyone else he could find, but Frank forced down the noise. The man's front room was sort of a greenhouse. The walls were lined with tables of plants under fluorescent lights. The air smelled of fertilizer solution. Maybe Venetians did their gardening inside, since they were surrounded by water instead of soil. Frank wasn't sure, but he didn't spend much time worrying about it. The back room looked like a combination garage, college dorm, and computer lab. Against the far wall glowed a bank of several laptops, their screensavers flashing pictures of plowed fields and tractors. Against the right wall sat a single bed, a messy desk, and an open wardrobe filled with extra denim clothes and a stack of farm implements, like pitchforks and rakes. The back wall was a huge garage door. Parked next to it was a red and gold chariot with an open carriage and a single axle, like the chariots Frank had raced at Camp Jupiter. Spouting from the sides of the driver's box were giant feathery wings. Wrapped around the rim of the left wheel, a spotted python snored loudly. Frank hadn't known that pythons could snore. He hoped he hadn't done that himself to the python from last night. "Set your friend here," said the man in denim. Frank placed Hazel gently on the bed. He removed her sword and tried to make her comfortable, but she was as limp as a scarecrow. Her complexion was definitely a greenish tint. "What are those cow things?" Frank demanded. "What did they do to her?" "Cattle proms," said their host. Singular. Cat or blips. In English, it means downlooker. Called that because they're always looking down. Nico smacked his forehead. "Right, I remember reading about them." Frank glared at him. "Now you remember?" Nico hung his head almost as low as the caterpillars. I used to play this stupid card game when I was younger. Mytho Magic. The Catobleps were one of the monster cards." Frank blinked. "I played Mytho Magic. I never saw that card." "It was in the Africanus Extreme Expansion deck." "Oh." Their host cleared his throat. "Are you two done? Geeking out, as they say?" "Right, sorry," Nico murmured. "Anyways, Caterpillars have poison breath and poison gaze. I thought they only lived in Africa." The man in denim shrugged. "That's their native land. They were accidentally imported to Venice hundreds of years ago. You've heard of St. Mark?" Frank wanted to scream in frustration. He didn't see how any of this was relevant, but if their host could heal Hazel, Frank decided maybe it'd be best not to make him angry. "Saints? They're not part of Greek mythology." The man in denim chuckled. "No, but St. Mark is the patron saint of the city. He died in Egypt a long time ago, when the Venetians became powerful. Well, the relics of saints were a big tourist attraction back in the Middle Ages. The Venetians decided to steal St. Mark's remains and bring them to their big church in San Marco. They smuggled his body out of a barrel and pickled pig parts." "That's disgusting," Frank said. "Yes," the man agreed with a smile. "The point is, you can't do something like that and not have consequences. The Venetians unintentionally smuggled something else out of Egypt, the cattle prawns. They came here aboard that ship and have been breeding like rats ever since. They love the magical poison roots that grow here. Swampy, foul-smelling plants that creep up from the canals. It makes their breath even more poisonous. Usually the monsters ignore mortals, but demigods, especially demigods who get in their way..." "Got it," Frank snapped. "Can you cure her?" The man shrugged. Possibly.